This is the 127th episode of CloudFocus Weekly for the last day of February 2013. This episode is titled Client Organization. CloudFocus Weekly is sponsored by Arkus, cloud computing experts. I'm your host, Jason Atwood, and joining me for the 127th time and counting is Justin Edelstein. Go ahead, talk.
Oh, okay. I just feel like we've done this already before.
Maybe we've done this once or twice.
Once or twice or 126 other times.
Yes, or 126 other times.
So connected to you right now?
I'm feeling so connected. We have an agenda today.
Is it a connected agenda?
Is it a connected agenda?
Is it connected to our constituency?
It probably is, or not. We have a blog post, although not on our blog, but involves us, so we'll talk about it. Because, whatever.
Yes.
Then we're going to talk about the customer company. Basically, the new Mark Benioff, Salesforce.com presentation that happened this week in New York City at the Waldorf Astoria. Lots of feedback on that. We'll talk about it for those of you who weren't able to attend or see it live. And then we have some, there's a new Twitter ad API that only a few special people get to be in, and we'll talk about that as well. And then we'll make our CloudFocus app pick of the week. This will be a special one because not only am I going to make a pick, but I'm going to give you one.
Ooh.
So you actually will get
like you're
one
gonna hand it to
as
me?
I make the pick. And then it's yours to keep.
That's fun and exciting.
Isn't that fun and exciting?
It is kind of fun.
That's going to get you up. By the way, we've had feedback from the universe that, yes, a couple episodes ago, you did really not do good.
I acknowledge that. I was tired, and I think you caught me at the end of a really, really, really long day, at the end of a really, really, really long week, and I wasn't my chipper self.
No. You were like,
yeah,
of the chipper.
Right.
It was no good. But I'll keep bringing it up just to make sure. Anyway.
You know what?
I can look at the sparkle in your
I'm
eye
feeling the
today.
connection breaking right now.
The
connection's break. You're not reading my mind.
I have. And then I was featured on blog.salesforce.com.
Oh, you were you?
Yeah. So they actually, you did this last November.
I did this, and then they asked me if I knew anybody else who might want to do it, and I said, yeah, Jason might want to do it.
Sure. And unlike you, I didn't have everybody else write mine. I wrote my own.
Oh, come on. I wrote like a quarter of mine.
Yeah, a quarter. So anyway,
I did mine collaboratively, connecting with everybody throughout my connected organization.
Are you going to do this every time?
Yes.
All right. So it's up on blog.arkusinc.com, posted by Holly Wegman, who organized it. It wasn't, but it's that guest post sort of situation. Entitled AppleExchange All Stars, Jason Atwood's App Picks. Okay. So basically
Mine
what I
was
do...
probably entitled Justin Edelstein's App Picks.
It is. Where I picked 4 of my favorite apps, all of which we actually use, and all of which, all of which I really use. Now I look back over yours, you had picked, I think... you'd picked Cirrus. Mm-hmm. You'd picked the Permissioner.
That's right.
You'd picked Dupe Blocker, maybe? No.
I think I picked Demand Tools, perhaps.
Demand Tools, and then I forgot what the last one was.
Hard to remember. So long ago.
It was so long ago.
So many picks ago.
It was. So this time I picked 4.
Oh, I picked Zap It.
Oh, Zap It. Yeah. So it wasn't very hard because I just went into our org and I said, what are the 4 things that we use and I really use every day? And came up with my 4. Actually, Imperial Cloud Sync for Google Apps, which they actually fixed in the last month. So it's a good thing that they fixed it right before I picked it because it was broken with Many Who, with the Many Who release, and not working at all. In fact,
you might not have picked it.
I was close to not picking it.
Because you can't just pick something and then give it a bad review.
Right.
That's not really what the intention of the blog post is for.
No. It wasn't. It's not a review thing.
No.
It's funny. Out of the 4 things I wrote, the only one they wanted really to edit was the one about Compliance Locker.
They came back with edits on it?
Yeah, that was the only one they wanted to edit.
Why? Was it too sparkling?
Yeah, it was a little... No, it was more like I was making fun of Chatter, and I was making fun of, compliance and Chatter.
How dare you?
How dare you?
Are you serious? You're making fun of Chatter? How dare you?
I was a little bit. By the way, don't have almonds before you go on a podcast.
Yeah.
It's not good for you.
You almost just, swallowed your tongue.
Yeah, it was no good. I picked, so I could pick Compliance Locker, Salesforce mobile dashboards. I actually love. I love that.
Really? I never use that.
It's because
should I be using that?
Yeah, it's great.
I look at dashboards all the time. I don't use that.
It's just neat because it's a nice way of looking at it, and it's just well organized and like I said,
only it, right?
Just it. Well, it actually has chatter, and it will tell you some of the report. You'll actually see a quick view of the report.
Oh, really?
In kind of like a iPad version. So
it's free, right?
Free, great stuff.
Is it a Labs thing, or is it a real product?
It's a real product by Labs, but they support it. It's on the app. It's an iOS app.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you got to get it on. Yeah, I guess.
And eventually, I think it'll go away when
Touch has dashboards in it.
Yeah. Although I still think it'll be better because of the way it works. But anyway, and then Conga Composer, which we've talked about a billion times. So anyway, there's my picks. They're on blog.arkusinc.com. You can find out about that. But really, the big news of the week in the Salesforce world, or I guess in cloud computing, it's kind of made, as I was reading over my Zeit in the morning, this made all the blogs.
I feel like this was timed. Didn't Salesforce announce their earnings today? I feel.
Did they?
I think maybe.
Yes.
Maybe I'll Google that while you talk.
Maybe they don't. It's funny because we don't actually talk about their earnings. I feel like that's a little too whatever. This isn't Financial Force weekend. So anyway, this is the re-announcement or the retweaking of the what was once called the social enterprise, which they've been doing that for what, a year and a half?
A year and a half. If not, I feel like it's is it one Dreamforce ago or two Dreamforces ago where they started this?
The social enterprise?
Yeah, I feel like it was like 2 years ago.
It was just to, put the truth on. So Salesforce started with this thing called the social enterprise, really about bringing, it was about internal social and external social, then tried to trademark it. Then a lot of nonprofits got very involved, and there's some petitions to get them to stop. They did stop. And the story is that Mark Benioff went on a sort of a hiatus, a 1 month leave of absence, sort of took a long vacation, I guess, where he really didn't do chatter, really didn't do any emails, and he went off to try to kind of figure out, what it is he's going to do. And as one of the things, he came back with the new thing, which is the customer company.
Right on.
Which is again, it's sort of a tweaking. It's not a reimagining of their entire world. It's much more, as you would describe it, again, less about social networks and more about how some stuff that he's talked about for a long time, which is more about how everything should be connected. Right. Location.
Gotta be connected.
Like, that's part of it. So instead of just saying, I'm tweeting you, it's like, I know your location. I know what you've purchased. I know where you've been.
I know you just walked in my store.
Right.
And how can I service you better?
He actually laid out, it wasn't just, he laid out the different sections of it and where you should be focusing. It's mobile, it's local, it's geo, it's...
There were 9 tenants.
Yes.
I cannot remember them all.
Remember all. There's a great video.
But a lot of them are like, the ones that existed, like cloud, mobile, right? Trust. Those exist.
Trust was actually a good one. I think putting that into the mix is something that
should always be in the mix.
Well, something that Salesforce does really, really well, and something I think it gets lost in the conversation of features and functions.
Well, that's one of the things that was also part of the message. It's like, and of course, cloud, right? Like at the end of the video, it's like, and of course, the scalability and reliability of the cloud. So it was like sort of like it wasn't brushed over, but it's like, it's now he's trying to get, when he puts that slide up there always, mainframe, client server, cloud.
Yes.
He's trying to go beyond. He's trying to get beyond cloud. So it's like, of course, cloud. What's next? What's out there? What's the next thing? They always do those little slides where it's like, mini computer, PC, mobile, social, right?
Right.
Goes in this like graph upward line chart thing. It's in every presentation in some shape or form with different words.
Right, starting with the right.
Depending on when you saw it. Mobile was in the 2000s or maybe in the 2010s.
Starts with sticks and rocks, and then it goes up
fire.
So we had the privilege of being up close and personal in front of this intimate affair with like 1,000 people.
We're in like the fourth row.
Very important.
Although Mark Benioff, the main speaker, Mark Benioff, there were a few other speakers. He was walking around the room the whole time.
He was
not in front of us ever.
So
he was always behind us.
Yeah, points where you're looking at the screen, looking at him, and seeing the back of your head, which is my favorite part. Like, oh, there's the back of my head. There's my head.
Yeah. If I were you, I would not.
No, there's not much back. It has the most hairs on the back of my head.
It sticks out. It's like shiny.
It's shiny and nice. So what do you think? So we sat through 2-hour presentation. Give me your thoughts. What's your feedback? They want the feedback, so here it comes.
Know. You know how I generally feel about these forward-looking, safe harbor type of keynote presentations that are more sizzle, less steak, more vision, less reality.
Right.
We were talking about it afterwards, like, we really appreciate the fact that there is a vision.
Right.
Because there are certainly companies that will sit back, relax, and, just collect the cash, right?
Sorry, what?
What was that? Yeah. Sneeze? Bless you. The innovator's dilemma, right? When you have a cash cow, when do you decide to move and keep moving and keep innovating versus collecting a lot of money? And Salesforce certainly is known and has the reputation for being extremely innovative, and that is the fun part of being involved and being part of the community and being a part of the Salesforce world and universe, is being involved with this very innovative and forward-looking and moving company that you keep getting to learn along with and iterate along as they move. But I said to you as we walked out, as I really actually enjoyed this message more than I've enjoyed the messages prior, which I guess is weird because it's a little different. But I used to really, really like the presentations that showed you the things that you could do today. And because a lot of people, and we deal with a lot of clients that don't even know half the things that they can do today, let alone the things that they don't even know that they want or need that they can't do for another year, which is what we're really seeing in these presentations. Some of the stuff you can do today, if you got a lot of money and you've, got Salesforce as like your major partner and you let them show you off on the screen all the time and you sign big deals. But if you're, Joe's Pizza Shack and you want to be a customer company as Joe's Pizza Shack, it's not quite the same thing as being Toyota Friend. Even though the technology is scalable, up, down, elastic, you can use the things. I just don't think they exist yet that like Toyota Friend is using.
Yeah, right? I think, you're picking, I'll play the other side of it. I think you're picking a thing that is hard. Toyota Friend, yes, that's a very customized thing. But what they announced and what they showed, I think the best part of it was really the Obama administration's use of what you said was Desk.com.
I thought it was.
I'm never going to let you live that down.
I can't believe that they had that volume of cases coming into their system the way that they were coming in.
Yeah, millions. And they were taking every tweet, every check-in, every email, every phone call.
Every touch,
and bringing them in as cases and then not only reporting on it when we saw some of the Visualforce things they'd built up, but also being able to make them actionable. So, like, if I need to go search for people in this zip code and then be able to blast out to them, I could based on voter turnout. Or if someone were to tweet, I want to come help, they showed the example of being able to do it using a chatter and then firing off to them within Salesforce. Geolocating.
A lot of it was like, some trickery there, like
but none of it was trickery because it actually happened.
Well,
like they used it.
Yeah, I mean, but you, as someone who knows what they were doing, like, you can see, they're using specific hashtags so that certain people then follow the record. And, because a lot of that stuff doesn't happen like, all of a sudden there's a case and someone just says someone needs help. And then the right person at the right time is automatically following that case. Like, the case just got created. How could they be following it? Like,
right.
That doesn't... So, like, a lot of it is really, stuff you could definitely do, but they make it look... That's what they do. They make it look so, like, of course, this is exactly what happened.
But it's nothing that... Well, I think that's where I differ. There's nothing that they showed that doesn't exist. So, I've seen examples. Well, there's two things they always show, and they bug me, I know. It's like little nitpicky things. Because they show chatter live updating. They always show this screen.
They didn't do that this time.
No, they did.
No,
yes,
they didn't. You always saw the guy refreshing.
No. I'm saying in the videos.
Oh, in the videos.
The videos, It's like chatter, chatter, chatter. And it makes it look like it's... Now, that's not a big deal. Whatever. The other thing they do is they show animated graphs. So I see graphs moving up. Like, this is a many people. Yeah,
right.
But things happening like it looks like it's like it's happening in real time, that your graph is moving. There's no animated graphs in Salesforce, and that doesn't exist. So again, it's little stuff for me. But I thought that was a great example because that was real. It happened 4 months ago, and it was they claim it was a huge game changer. So, and we're not talking about small scale. We're not talking about
this was nationwide, big time scale.
But Joe's Pizza Shack, while they couldn't have probably the budget to go build out, they could put Salesforce. They could do email the case, and they could put in the Twitter thing and have people tweet at them and actually respond within Salesforce. So in some ways, for the same license, Joe's Pizza Shack could harness that power. It's all in pieces, and they got put it together. But so did the Obama campaign. They had to put it together, and they had to have someone give them the vision and build it out. But I was actually talking to a client today about case management, and I love case management in Salesforce because I've seen it scale. Some of our clients upwards, mega scale up, and even in this example of millions and millions of messages. And I was saying to the person, she was like, we don't even have cases. We don't use anything. We don't even do.
Right.
We have nothing. I said, well, I'm going to put you on a platform that you can put your 4 cases in and work them, but also that a platform that's built for 40 million or 4 million, let's say 4 million, and that you could scale up there. And she's like, well, we never get that many. I said, no, but isn't it nice to know that you're using a platform that can scale to that ability?
Of course.
Right, that you're starting with something and on the same place that person can run, a million cases in.
Right.
So that was your feedback. Just you liked the messaging.
I liked this messaging. I thought it was well packaged. I thought it was presented in a more timely fashion than normally is. Like, it wasn't a 3-hour keynote. It was an hour 45 to 2-hour keynote,
right,
which is better, more palatable. It didn't get too stale. Again, I still think there are things that are shown that you can't do, like the Rossignol examples. I'm not sure everyone could do the things that Rossignol's doing. I'm not sure everyone could do the things that Burberry's doing. There are things that they're using that are like super pilot or whatever. I mean, that's interesting to see, and it's nice to see the vision. But
I remember back in the Dolby days when Aperio got up and showed the Dolby digital theater thing,
and how
it was a highly customized, and we both looked at that at the time. This was many years ago, and went, "Wow, that's cool," but boy, is that custom. I think it's okay to show the power of things as long as you're, again, yes, you're Rossignol. You're going to have more power to do that, and it's going to take you some time. But I think the platform is there for you. It's ready. And what I like about this message is it feels a little bit more, you can put your hands around it. You can say to someone mobile, and here's why mobile, or here's local, and here's why local, or trust. Again, I think a huge piece of this, and say here's why trust.
Right.
I was always hard to say social.
But wasn't that Marketing Cloud demo that you saw, wasn't that a little like hocus pocus to you? A little bit. Yes, the Marketing Cloud one where they basically have they're like dragging and dropping things into like and now it's on a mobile. It's like, oh, you just drag and drop and now it's on a mobile.
Well, no, now he posted an ad to
and
Facebook.
now it's a Facebook ad, and that's
I think that's all what's in Buddy Media.
Yeah, but it seemed a little hocus pocus to me.
Yeah,
a lot of their. I used to like when you get to see the hocus pocus stuff as the one more thing moment,
right?
The Steve Jobs one more thing, as opposed to the whole presentation being the one more thing. I like seeing things that exist today that real run of the mill run of the mill clients of Salesforce or customers of Salesforce are using every day that make their lives easier, and then seeing these special cases,
right?
And here's what's on the horizon cases.
I think I think Salesforce doesn't feel, and I would disagree with them, I feel like they don't feel that their feature set, there's so many features and so much of it sort of just, again, just new features, that they don't think that demoing the product itself is sexy enough. It's not splashy enough.
Yeah, I disagree with them.
Well, this is where I was about to go, is that I think you can build an incredible demo without getting too into the, too into totally custom stuff and still show incredible power. Stuff that is like, you just don't see, and people will still, you know, it depends on the audience. You're talking to a bunch of people who have Salesforce. If you show them Chatter, oh, Chatter, yeah, I get Chatter, I know it. Or Chatter messages, or Chatter whatever. That's great stuff, but I think they always feel like you got to be one ahead. You got to be showing not only not the thing that's even coming out in not the next release, but the stuff that's the vision of the 3 releases from now.
I know, but that's like the stuff that bugs me when you see stuff on a Dreamforce keynote 2 years ago that's still not there.
Right.
It's still not here. So, like, thanks for showing me that 2 years ago. I appreciate that now still.
Right, but you also have to realize, agile company, there's things that they're going to kill off. There's things they're going to build.
Totally.
But it's never going to come up.
You know, I get the yin and the yang of the whole situation. It's just I'd like to see things more baked in reality first, and then see the fun stuff at the end. And that's just polishing the presentation. And
polishing the process.
Just polish it up.
Well, I thought that the thing that, again, the Obama one to me was real.
That was real.
Because it's real.
It's real. Like, they used it. They had the person the 3 people who managed it were sitting there and talked to it. Do
those stories more. Do less of what it looks like to walk up to a Coke machine and order a thing.
Because I've never walked up to a Coke machine. And the Toyota Friend thing, which they've been talking about for a year and a half.
41 cars in the world.
That's right.
41.
Right.
That's not real.
And they've been talking about that for a year and a half.
Right. So I agree. The vision is cool, but the ones you throw those videos of, if I were to do them, those 3-minute videos would be things that are actually either happened and people can go, this is not something that we're not talking about a car that there's only 41 in the planet. I'm talking about the 3 million emails and tweets that we got and processed in the last election. That's powerful. Showing me 41 people I could build it in anything, 41 people on a friend. Like, that's not. So I think some of it's a little bit of vision, but I think they should move the stories, the case stories, around more real things that are happening. Because they're out there, right? The Chatter stories are out there, and they don't have to be about a Chatter in the back of your plane, in a plane that doesn't exist yet. It could be Chatter in an organization where they actually are using it to build, to do real work, and have stories around it that you can then put a video on.
And I would do different size organizations as well,
right?
Because a lot of the time, the messages, and we seem like we're coming off negative. We're not. We both really enjoyed it yesterday. We really did. So this is not a negative thing. I think sometimes you just tend to harp on the things that you didn't like more than promote the things you really, really enjoyed.
Right.
We both came out of there feeling energized, and we totally enjoyed it. But the thing I would say is, Salesforce is it levels the playing field for organizations big and small. The only thing that's different is your budget on what you want to build on the platform. But the technology itself levels the playing field to a certain extent. So I would like to see more stories of the 100-person community bank, or the
71-person private equity firm,
or the nonprofit with 250 employees, or even the nonprofit with a fundraising team of 6. Like, I'd love to see those stories of how they transform their business and their ROI stories and all that, as opposed to just seeing the Burberrys and the Rossignol's and the Toyotas and the Obama campaign, which is basically a Fortune 100 company,
Fortune 2.
Right.
I agree, because it's hard to relate to them, because you don't, if you show a user story, and again, you can do it in the same fashion. Do it with the fancy music and we started
They'd
with
be happy
nothing,
to do it. Yeah.
But I agree, having different size organizations to the audience, when you have an audience that's full of nonprofits and full of small businesses, it's all medium and mid-market and whatever, I think if you showed all those different pieces, I think it would be more powerful to say, and here's a case study of literally 7 people, but here's how they're using Salesforce in a unique way.
Here's how 7 people work like 25 people.
Right, using Chatter and Salesforce and whatever, and being the customer company. My only other thing is the words themselves, and that was what the play on the words are in the title of the podcast, was that, to me, those are two antiquated words. And, words Words mean things, and your use of
Is that how words work?
Yeah, they mean things, but
like,
they mean something.
Or something.
They mean something, and then they mean something below that. They have a sub meaning. You know,
there's like a higher level and
connotation,
a lower level.
denotation. You want so when you say the word customer, I've always been taught, and I do have a business degree, that customer was something that is more of when I go down to the deli, I'm a customer. I walk in, I purchase something, and I walk out. I'm a customer. A client is something that you have for a period of time. So it's more of you build a relationship with them, and you have them for a long time. You build a relationship with your clients. You have customers. I think they're getting closer together, but I still consider, and even in Arkus, I try to say client because I feel like clients is a relationship. Customer is someone who buys something from me. And then company is a word that it's a very business. It actually means it's a legal entity word. It means it's something that's built as a legal entity and a tax basis to handle, to handle that. It's a U.S. based thing, as opposed to like an organization, which when we talk to, we have half our business is nonprofits, and we talk to I always have to do the flip in my head that I'm saying organization, not company. Because it's not a company. They're not companies. They're organizations. And so using the word company is kind of, I think it blocks people's thoughts. I also think in this day and age, companies aren't really looked on as, I don't know if it's a positive word.
I wouldn't say it's a positive word.
Like if you there's words that bring like puppy is a positive word. Roadkill is a negative word. Like there's just words that have
roadkill.
I went roadkill. I was going to say something worse.
You went there, huh?
I went there. Well, I mean, there's just things that bring positive thoughts, and companies over the last, I'd say 20 something years, they get kind of this feeling of like they're not a positive good. They're out for their own. They're traded on the stocks. They're run by people who don't care about people. They're companies.
No, I totally get exactly what you're saying. The word play,
right,
is
so
kind of,
and I know it's a lot. There's not that many words, so that's why I named the
client
podcast Client Organization, which actually sounds like nothing. So I guess customer company makes more sense. But with 10,000 or 12,000, nonprofits using Salesforce,
I think it's closer to 15.
Do they consider both either customers or companies? Neither.
No. Well, some. I mean, it depends on the nonprofit.
Yeah, but
like a CDFI might consider
their
customers.
Right.
And they might even consider themselves a company.
That's the way I would, if I were going to go at, it's just like social. Like social, that was one of my posts about the social enterprise. Even enterprise is a better, although that has a bad thing to it too, but social has this thing about the social networks, about tweeting and Facebook and like overposting.
The decision makers typically will have a negative feeling about the word social.
Right.
So be like, my company is not social, it's my company.
You know what my number one skill is in talking about Salesforce? Talking about Chatter and not mentioning any of the social networks.
That's a good one.
I literally can I go and like these
and
things.
And it's not like Facebook.
Yeah, I do not mention Facebook or Twitter or Orkut or Foursquare or any of them. I don't, because people, they have...
You really just say Orkut?
Yeah, I did.
Really?
If I said
in
Orkut.
Brazil?
Yeah, pretty much. Anyway, so overall I thought it was great.
New Chatter on the iOS.
Yeah, so
we saw them demoing it, and I was like, that is not real. And then
you got all mad.
I got all mad. I'm like, what is that?
Yep.
And then all of a sudden the update came out, and I was like, oh, cool. I could do polls. I posted a poll from the iOS asking who downloaded the new
iOS,
the new version on their phone.
It is much better.
It is better. It's faster.
It's faster.
It's got much. It used to hang, like if I didn't open it for 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
So it would open on Chatter from like 4 or 5 days ago. And we use Chatter a lot, even though there's not hundreds of people in our org. And I would refresh, and it would just hang, and I'd have to quit.
Yeah.
But now I'm thinking it's going to be a little better. You can see records.
That's
nice. Nice.
Polls. And polls, voting and unvoting. I like that.
Yeah, voting on the polls. It's pretty neat.
Very cool.
Nifty stuff.
So the new Chatter iOS.
That was cool.
Download it yesterday.
Yeah. Or today.
iPad too.
Or tomorrow.
It's one app, and it's universal. The iPad, I was using the iPad version. It's very nice. I wish they'd just bring them together. I know it's kind of like...
Well, they had them together, and then they broke them apart.
Like, why is
it's hard to
dashboards
explain
a
to
separate
people when you go, when you're onboarding a new client, you're going through training, and they're like, all right, we want our mobile. You're like, oh, do you want your Salesforce mobile, or you want your Chatter mobile? You want both mobile? They're like,
touch?
Now there's all this other stuff to have to consider.
You got 4 different things, and then there's all the third parties that have mobile products. You're like, okay, we want one of these? But anyway, new Chatter. Whoever's done the new Chatter iOS,
I think
app,
touch was one of the 9 words. Touch.
You're right. Touch was
one of the 9 words, which I think is a little bit of a dangerous word to throw in the core 9, even though they can change them whenever they want.
The core 9.
Well, you don't really see touch going away all that soon, but
like
it's one of those things that's like, all right, I guess like a mouse really never went away, so I guess you can think, all right,
keyboard?
touch is kind of like around at this point.
Means, yeah.
But no, it's the paradigm. It's like, oh well, we used to not have a mouse, and now you have a mouse, and you can navigate around on your computer screen.
Right.
And touch is what he's I don't know if mobile and touch were both in there, but that's kind of what he means.
Well, I mean, it's not. They're separate because the world is moving towards touch not for mobile. So like, although I guess a laptop is mobile, but not really. Like the new Google Pixel, right?
Has a touch
Chromebook
screen.
Pixel has a touch screen, and
we checked in on iPads.
Yep, we checked in on iPad,
and I was touching the iPad.
Yep. No, but I was saying that's why I said I like the dashboard where my Pix was, and I actually wrote it. It's like sometimes if you change the way or the device that you're looking at data in or thinking about, and we've had this conversation before about like the difference between writing on a whiteboard versus writing on a piece of paper versus writing on a keyboard. Your brain actually processes, been scientifically proven that your brain processes information differently based on the way that you're sort of putting it out.
Yeah. I just went through a drawing class, and I had a big 18 by 24 sketch pad, and it's different drawing on that sketch pad than it is drawing on the 8.5 by 11 one that I bought to use at home.
Yeah.
It's different because of just the amount of space.
And it brings out what you can do with it. Maybe it brings out different thoughts about it. Like if you put graph paper in front of me or put plain or white paper, I think differently. So touch is that same way. Like when I put my iPad in front of me and I use even an app that's like very similar, like I just think differently. So I might swipe and push, and that's why I like the dashboards one, because you can actually move things left and right
swiping.
and right. Yeah, swiping things. So all right. So that was our takeaway on all the good things that Mr. MB had to say. Why don't we pick some CloudFocus app picks of the week?
All right.
Well, let's also say that we are skipping the Twitter API story.
Yeah, we were going to talk about the Twitter Ads API and its integration, and Salesforce was one of the 5 or 6 partners that were allowed to play with it.
But we just did.
But, we just talked about Salesforce for a while, and we just mentioned it.
There you go.
Salesforce put into their marketing cloud product that exists.
No, I just read your CloudFocus app pick of the week, and I was like, wow, timely.
Well,
you've
here's
also
the
picked
thing.
this before.
I have not.
Yeah, you have.
I have not picked this app before.
I think you have.
When would I have picked it? Last year?
Yep.
Why? No.
Okay, I did.
I'll bet you on it
right.
that I didn't.
Go ahead. What's your Justin,
well, here's the thing. I was going to pick it last week.
Yeah, good job.
But I wanted to pick it after because then I would have been able to use it and tell you a little bit about it and know that it worked.
Okay.
So I'll pick it now, and you can maybe use it next year. So I'm picking the Oscars app for the iOS platform, which the Oscars happened this past weekend.
It's funny because I'm just picking the Olympics, the 2010 Olympics app, because it's going to be a lot of fun.
So it was a pretty cool app from ABC Digital.
Yep.
ABC does a nice job with these apps on the iOS. And they had this one killer feature. So before the Oscars, I was going to pick it last week, you could just sort of scroll through and see who was nominated and watch some clips from the movies and whatever, and it wasn't all that, whatever. So what?
Well, you can actually make your picks.
Yeah,
so
but
the wife and I played
not
against some people on other friends. We made our picks and kept score. It was fun.
So what I liked about the app was that director view. Did you play around with that? During
it, I was just watching the show.
Oh, so
last year I did all the different views. You could go to the red carpet view. You could go to the
cool.
You could go to the cocktail view.
I had the mini open, the iPad mini, and I'm bouncing around between all these different cameras. I'm like, ooh, this is really cool, and it's live. And it was just a pretty neat way of, I think TV's gonna get to this place. We love talking about TV on different devices.
Well, it's a second screen.
It's just awesome, the second screen experience and being able to do more things with it. I've still yet to do, and I watch a lot of shows on AMC, I've still yet to do like the AMC Story Sync with the second device. I might do it I haven't watched this past week's Walking Dead yet. Maybe I will put AMC StorySync.com on and watch with that.
Can you do it with an iPad or you have to do it with a computer?
I think you could. I think you do it with an iPad because it's got to like. I feel like it has to just hear it,
right? And then
it will just sync it up. I imagine you could do it with an iPad. I haven't really tried it yet, so I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it with this week's episode.
I'm gonna do I'm gonna do a CloudFocus app pick of the week update. All
right.
I think we should bring these in now and again because we make all these picks. And we really don't go back.
So many of them,
and we don't go back and
We've
repick
each
them.
made 127 of them. You've picked Spring 12.
That's right. That was my best pick ever. But I want to say that we've talked a lot, and we made a pick. I think you made Passbook your pick.
I did.
And I tweeted some news this morning.
No, I think I picked an app for Passbook because it was like working so nicely.
Right.
Yeah.
So the big news this week was, as our CloudFocus app pick of the week update, is that I think 10 or so MLB parks are going to be using Passbook.
Is Yankee Stadium one of them?
Well, I don't know.
I'll have to check.
I don't know. You have to check.
Got those season tickets. Love to have them in the Passbook.
So very, very cool. My pick of the week.
Hand it to me. Give me mine. I want it. I've been waiting for this.
I mean, I am just at this point. I could literally keep picking Kickstarter projects forever.
That was my other pick, by the way. So the Oscars pick is sort of obsolete.
Yeah.
Kickstarter put an app out.
Yes.
So you can go look at Kickstarter apps or Kickstarter projects on your mobile and do all the bidding and check on your projects on the mobile. So Kickstarter for iOS will be my
there's another one.
Handy other app.
So pick. I think this is I'm not giving it to you yet.
Hand it over.
No.
You said you were going to give it to me.
Well, at the end of the podcast. This is one of my oldest. I mean, other than the Pebble, which I actually got the Pebble, but I made the Pebble as a pick. I remember, so I got my Pebble the other day, which is the digital watch.
The watch.
And this one I made a long, long time ago, actually on the guise of giving you one for the holidays. Of course, they pushed it out and it just shipped. And I just got it, so it is called the Nifty Mini Drive. And what it is there are slots on, and I think this is only a Mac thing, but for you Mac people, listen up. There are slots on the side of your computer. There's one for tons of them, but one of them is for an SD card, right? And when you put an SD card in, it kind of sticks out, and you can take pictures off it, whatever. So these guys came up with this theory, this idea of creating and I've got one in mine, of creating a thing that goes into your slot, but goes straight up, right? So it uses the micro SD and then fits into your SD card because no one actually uses SD cards anymore with cloud everything. Like you don't take pictures from your computer camera anymore. So like why not use it for something? So you can put a mini SD which can go up to like I think 16, 32, or 64 gigabytes. And you basically have this little tiny built-in extra drive that you can then do whatever you want. You can back up to it because they're almost indestructible, like SD cards are almost indestructible. You can use it for extra space, especially on MacBook Airs and MacBook Pros. You have 256, so you want to have more space. So anyway, here I'm handing you one.
Give me mine. Give me that
Nifty Mini Drive. They come in different.
Me opening it.
They come in different colors. I actually got you.
That? I just opened.
I got you an SD card to go in it. So there you go.
Ooh, thank you.
It is pretty cool. I've had it in for like a day or two, and it basically sits right in your SD, flat up, and allows you to have like an extra drive. Here's what I would suggest to do with it.
Oh, what should I do with this thing?
And I haven't fully tested this out because I'm trying a couple different applications. But what I would suggest is because the SD drive in the solid state drive is fallible and things change and die or whatever. What I would suggest is to use it as a backup, not something you ever remove, but as a backup that you then. Don't throw that away. You need that little thing. Yep.
I need this little green thing?
No, you need that green thing.
I need the little holder that's in here.
No, you need the thing that pulls it out. That's it.
This is the drive?
Nope. that's the thing that you put the drive into.
This is the thing I put the drive into?
Yeah.
Oh, and this is the drive.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's tiny. So, yeah, there's programs like Carbon Copy, Super Duper.
This is me opening it.
Deja Vu that will...
I have Super Duper.
You can set up to automatically copy. And so what I would do is make this a little tiny little backup drive and maybe copy over your Dropbox
Documents
stuff.
folder or something.
I would do things that are kind of cloud-based. Because if the world were to collide or something, people always trust the cloud, but the cloud could also decide to wipe out everything tomorrow. And if it's decided to do
Don't say that on CloudFocus Weekly.
Well, that's what could happen. I've heard a lot of people losing their Dropbox because somehow their Dropbox gets contaminated and then it wipes downwards. So then it wipes out all your files. So I would use it to copy left, or copy from your thing onto that. So it is called the Nifty Mini Drive. Justin has his. He's just about to stick it in. He's going to give an instant review. Push it. There you go. And I got you a green for the Jets.
Thank you. Green for Arkus.
For Arkus.
Oh, there it is. It says no name.
So now you have another
drive. It says no name. I have to name my drive.
There you go. All right. Well, let's end the podcast by saying...
it's kind of nice.
Let's
open it up. There's nothing on it.
Okay.
All right.
Are you done yet?
I want to name it. What should I name it?
Nifty. That's it. So
named.
Remember to go to facebook.com/Arkus Inc. Remember to follow Justin if you want to listen to him talk about his Nifty Mini Drive on Just Edelstein. I'm on Jason M. Atwood on Twitter. Arkus Inc. is on Twitter. We're on the Google+. We're in the Dreamforce portal. And if you are on the iTunes subscribing to the podcast, which you should be doing, we would love you to leave a review. We actually got a review the other week. Maybe next week we'll talk about it and we'll read it. It was great. Thank you. But we love the reviews on iTunes because it's like the only place you actually can review us, I think, right now. But remember to come to the blog, blog.arkusinc.com. We got another blog post coming up this week.
People can comment right on the
And you can comment there as well using Discuss. All these things that happen. Until next week, we'll be back with another episode of CloudFocus Weekly. Until then, enjoy those cloudy days.